Hey guys, Scripture here with another video, and I wanted to discuss the stupidity of the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka Episode 4, and the reasons why I think it was stupid and creates problems. First of all, let's start off with the fact that at the end of that episode, they all fly away to the other galaxy to go look for Ezra and Thrawn, who, for all intents and purposes, should be dead. It doesn't really make much sense that they would survive that. There's so many things about this episode that are just silly. I mean, Ahsoka, giving Sabine this responsibility, even though she knows that it's a risk, because Thrawn could return. And it's like, nobody wants to sit there and say, hey, maybe we should just let it be, because as much as we love our friend, we don't want to risk the galaxy. Ultimately, that's what happens. Sabine in this episode gives Baylan the orb thing, and then they fly back. Like, it's just such a silly idea. But the main thing I want to talk about is this World Between Worlds thing. And I want to talk about it because, obviously there was the Merrick stupid one-hit lame. We don't even know who he was, whatever. That was cheesy. But so you have this situation where Baylan and Ahsoka are fighting. And she's trying to stop him from taking the orb or whatever. And flying back to the other galaxy. And at that moment, you're like, what was the point of all this? Like, just let Ezra be. Like, what are you guys doing? This is so stupid. And then, so then she's fighting Baylan, and she falls in the water, and I guess drowns? Which, but then all of a sudden, she wakes up in the World Between Worlds. Ezra entered the World Between Worlds through the Force painting at the Jedi Temple. And so you're like, okay, I don't like this idea, but at least it's sort of related to a Jedi temple, and there's some mystique and mystery there. It is what it is. That now is sort of the standard, right? The standard is you go to this place on Lothal, there's a painting of the Mortis gods, you use the Force, and you can enter the World Between Worlds. Now, as much as I don't like that, that at least is the standard now, right? And then, of course, he uses it to save Ahsoka from being killed by Vader, where she should have been killed by Vader. And that's ultimately what Dave created it for, was to save his waifu and have the ability now to write stories that can change everything and make it easy to write. But she doesn't die. She's there in the OT, but she's not part of the rebellion or doing anything to help. It's very, very foolish and stupid. So here she is alive after Jedi. And she loses to Baylan and gets knocked into the water. Now, some people use the excuse that, well, she fell into the water where the Stonehenge temple thing was, and that's what did it. And it's like, that's apples to oranges. You've got a Jedi temple with a painting of the Mortis gods, who are like these, like, god Force users, right? If you don't know. You've got the son, the father, the son, and the daughter. The son represents the dark, the daughter represents the light, and the father is in his fatherly duties keeping the balance by keeping his son from going off the deep end until he finally does. That is completely different than just falling into an ocean. There was nothing there. It was just, she just lost and fell into the water. My whole point of this is that they write their stories, and I've said this a million times, whether it was having a million ships show up at the end of Rise of Skywalker so they could have this shot of them. And so they just have, somehow Lando did it in 15 hours, got all these ships in this vast galaxy. Nobody knows. Who knows? He just did it. Or whether it's in the Kenobi show where they want to see Vader with the helmet cut. So they break lore and have them fight, even though George and every single print media that ever talked about Star Wars in the early days made it very clear that they never met each other. The gap was Mustafar to their fight in the original Star Wars. So we got to have that shot of the mask, and then him saying, I killed Anakin. All for that visual, they broke lore. And this isn't the same level of lore breaking in my view, but they had to have Anakin and Ahsoka have these scenes where they're fighting, and to try and titillate the audience, they put some Clone Wars stuff in there with her as a young Ahsoka, which, by the way, was very cheaply shot. I don't know if you noticed, but what they did was, so they didn't have to do any CGI or anything of any of the clone, tanks and artillery and all that stuff. They just have it all smoky and then just a bunch of clone troopers running around in like this orange haze. It's super cheap. It looks cheap. But, we gotta have Anakin and Ahsoka have this fight. So they do that, and they have this stupid flashback and then this fight where Anakin goes from good to bad, like out of nowhere, and it doesn't even really make any sense. Like, if you were gonna do this, you would do it like Luke in the cave. Like, what's Ahsoka supposed to learn here? Because he tells her something like, you have to keep fighting or something, and it's like, well, what do you think she was just doing? She was just fighting Baylan. She's fighting for Ezra. Like, she's not stopping fighting. So they couldn't even think of a good reason, right? When Luke fights Vader in the cave, it's very visionary, and it was meant to get Luke to realize the seriousness of the possibility of him falling to the dark side. That's how I interpreted it. Whereas this had nothing to do with that. Ahsoka never really wavered. She kept fighting him. He tells her to just keep fighting, and that's the lesson. And it made absolutely no sense for him to go from dark to light and to turn into Vader, other than they just wanted that shot. We gotta have, this is what they do. We need the shot of Vader. So they have this little flashy thing where he's got the suit on for a second, and then they kind of give you Anakin with the sort of evil Anakin before he turns into the machine of Darth Vader from Episode 3. And it's just all member-berry, and it had nothing to do with the plot at all, other than just, look at this, it's Ahsoka and Anakin in live action. That's all it was. And it made no sense, because again, she just falls into the water. There's no, she didn't use the Force, like Ezra did on the painting. She just falls into water, and she's there now. They couldn't think of anything better than that. And then, somehow she just wakes up, and isn't drowned, and then they dress her up in white clothing. By the way, where did she get it? Like, they were in another galaxy, but I guess someone stitched her up some white clothes to be like Gandalf the White now. It's Ahsoka the White now. And literally that's all that happens, and we're supposed to believe that she had this big realization of something. And it was like, but you're just the same as you always were. There's literally no difference. She's just wearing white clothing now. What was the point of it? Oh, I know. So they could get the shot of her and Anakin in live action. Which, I guess, for some people works.
He didn't even... Oh! Come through, baby.
Is he?
Yes!
No. But... Ooh!
Yes!
The little flickers.
Oh, damn.
My God.
That is crazy.
Oh, I'm stressing.
Oh, shit.
No, stop.
No! Did you...
That was sick, the breathing.
Oh, shit!
What?
Oh!
Okay. I do. Oh, it was a beautiful shot.
Show up as Vader. Show up as Vader. Show up as Vader. Okay, he's still Anakin. Okay, Vader-ish.
Holy that's cool.
Oh, damn. Oh my God.
You hear that breathing? Oh, god damn it.
Oh my God. So sick.
Oh god, stop doing that.
Sick.
It's just weird to me that people don't see that that's exactly what they were doing. And then, oh, what do we do? She has to have some change, so we'll put her in white robes, and that's it. She's literally the exact same, just in white robes. Because they can't think of anything else to do. It's just very cheap, very lazy. It was a stupid scene. It cheapens... I don't even like the World Between Worlds and all that stuff, but it cheapens the way Ezra went in there and used it by just having her fall in water. Like, it just, you can just tell they just did it all for those few shots to try and titillate everybody instead of writing good stuff. Instead of giving Ahsoka an arc. She's just a plank of wood the whole show. She doesn't change. She's the exact same no matter what happens. Cool, calm, collected, no issues. Right to the end, even after Ezra's gone, and it's her and Sabine on Peridia. She's like smiling with her arms folded and looking at Sabine and like, it's all good. We're good. We're good. It's like, what? Do you not realize what just happened and the failure that just happened and the fact that you should never have come here in the first place and what a stupid decision that was? And you should have never allowed Sabine to have access to that map? I don't get it. I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. So is the whole point is in her white wisdom now, she just accepts stupidity in herself and in Sabine. It's just terrible. Anyways, all I have to say, guys, it was all for the shot. That's how they write. That's all they do. They think of some cool visual. Instead of writing a story and building visuals around the story, they build a story around visuals, which is, of course, the complete opposite thing that you should be doing. I realize this is motion picture, but it's Star Wars. Write a good story. You'll do good visuals around that. You don't get that sense at all in the OT that anything was written around visuals. Ever. It's clear that the visuals are there to represent the story. So doing this is just cheap and lame. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Feel free to check everything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.